Welcome back to Clark here in the Philippines, one of our most favorite training courses where we hold most of our biomechanics program and training camp. Today is Saturday at 6:30 a.m. and well, it's the time for the uncles and grandpas to meet up in the parking lot for a little bit of fun, a little bit of recreating the frustration of being pro cyclist, which will never happen, of course, but we get a chance to ride and play with some of the teenagers here in the local bike scene. So we start here in Clark at Quest, and the course today is a 62-kilometer ride from the heart of Clark all the way to New Clark City. This is the profile. There are 8 total climbs, and we've tested it. The average time to finish is 2 hours and 38 minutes. If you think that is manageable for you, you are more than welcome to join us. This is a community ride, meaning we get to invite everyone who would care to join us, especially if you are an independent rider and looking for a platform to enjoy your riding here in Clark. Now, to give you a little bit of a background, the rides here are a continuing platform for most of our students who have undergone the biomechanics program. To give you an idea about the biomechanics program, it's really all about teaching you the basics, the art of cycling, and just shortcutting the trial and error process that you might have to undergo, especially if you're a new rider or you just bought your brand new bike. It doesn't mean that the bike fits you or it's your size. Biomechanics teaches you how to become a little bit more efficient, especially for a majority of us who are not young blood anymore, how we can enjoy cycling without having to blow up our cardiovascular stress. So it also works for seniors, it also works for riders who are in their early 30s. But most especially, we've been helping a lot of our senior friends. Tito Sam's 72 years old. We have a lot of friends overseas who've experienced the training camp. And really, it really helped them enjoy their cycling. Our friends from Singapore fly into Clark. They stay 2, 3, 4 days just to immerse themselves in an experiential training program. Nothing beats experiencing the actual bike fitting, and you'll be surprised that biomechanics in cycling is also applicable in running. So it's really just all about trying to teach you how to become very efficient. Biomechanics is the science of efficiency, using basic tools, using your current bike. It's not enough that you get a bike fit. You really have to experience how to use your gears, how to use your pedaling efficiency, how to use your shoes. So it doesn't matter what brand of bike you have. It can be a Canyon, it can be a time trial bike, you can be on your late teens, you can be a senior, you can be into triathlon, you can be into multi-sport. So biomechanics is really all about a holistic solution into how you can really enjoy your cycling. We've brought this program in Singapore. We've helped a lot of our friends in Singapore. And when you see the side by side split screen, the improvement is quite obvious. And it doesn't stop in the studio. And that's the reason why we organize this platform where we invite all of our existing students, old students, because we believe that the bike fitting and biomechanics on the studio does not stop there. You have to learn how to apply it on the real roads. And sometimes we also have friends like Benji over here, one of the junior cyclists on the local scene here in Angeles City, in Mabalacat. We also want to invite the teenagers to join us whenever we have this scripted rides. So scripted rides means that before the ride happens, an email goes out, text message goes out. It already lays down what are the objectives for the ride. So it's not as simple as just logging in miles. That's not a workout. It's literally describing a distance. Whenever we organize this community rides, we have to follow a very specific script. And if you think that this is not the ride for you because you're intimidated, let's give you a little bit of a background. So the entire ride is 68 kilometers. The first 20 kilometers is ridden at 32 kilometers per hour. It's really just a warm up. It allows people to tag along, join, learn the etiquette of riding in a large group. So it can go all the way at the back. And the reason why we like doing it in Clark is because of the wide roads. The drivers here are very respectful of cyclists. It's a very good venue for juniors to learn with the seniors on how to respect the red light, on how to hold a pace without having to be all over the road or unnecessary sprinting. It's a very good exposure for some of our learning teenagers who are really into the sport right now, and give them guidance on how to maybe change or upgrade their training day. It's not all about just going fast. It's not always about the mileage. Sometimes you have to learn the wisdom of trying to manage effort. And the roads here, the extensive road network, the climbing involved, makes you really appreciate the value of measuring your effort. And then aside from that, it also gives the opportunity for some of our newbies on how to learn to use their gearing. What you will notice on this section is the low cadence of most of the senior riders, the aunties, the uncles, the grandpas. The simple reason is that as you get older, we have to expect that we don't have the same cardiovascular strength as compared to when we were teenagers. So this program gives you the opportunity to test theory and practice it. Instead of just reading, Googling, and YouTubing, it would be nice if you can experience it and use your muscular strength if you don't have the cardiovascular efficiency anymore. So this roads gives everyone the chance to be on a pace line. Nobody can overtake the front, just to make sure that everyone is on the peloton. So this is a no drop ride. It has to be intact until the 20th kilometer. So the average speed target for the entire ride is, you'll be surprised, it's just 23 kilometers per hour. So if you think you're up to that, you are guaranteed to survive this ride. A lot of people have some anxiety whenever they hear that the ride would go to New Clark City because of the 8 climbs, but if you ride it correctly, then you'll be surprised you're gonna have your personal record. So the whole ride is divided into sectors. Out of the 68 kilometers, the first 20 kilometers is a standard warm-up. This gives everyone the chance to really stay in the peloton, enjoy the peloton, understand pacing, understand the no surging rule, understanding on how to go through corners without having to unnecessarily brake, or else you might cause accidents, how to do hand signals, how to share the roads with local drivers. And one of the things that we always emphasize here is that whenever you go through a corner, avoid surging the speed. We're gonna start adding a little bit of a layout over here. We're gonna add the speed so you have an idea that if you think you can hold 28, 30 kilometers per hour on these roads, this could be the right platform for you. So you don't have to panic. It's not all about going super fast. If you read the script the night before, at least you will be ready and aware of what to expect. Number two, whenever we approach a corner or a U turn, the number one rule is you do not attack after the U turn. If we started at 12 kilometers per hour, 10 kilometers per hour after the U turn, immediately after the U turn, you have to slow down. You have to wait for the last guy in the peloton to finish the U turn and then slowly accelerate. So if you notice here, the speed is still at 20 kilometers per hour, everyone's slowing down. It's just a form of courtesy. The more that you keep the group intact, the more that, well, number one, you're going to enjoy the company of everyone. Number two, um, you're going to finish the entire course faster than if you would be attacking your friends. So from the U-turn, we start at 20 kilometers per hour, 22 kilometers per hour, and then this slowly goes up to 23, 24, 25, 30 kilometers per hour. So the trick is really not surging. You have to build the speed slowly. Now for the uncles, what we're trying to focus on is how can we improve our muscular strength. Because we have to admit, as we start getting into our late 30s and late 40s, our golden years are almost done. We just have to accept that, especially if you're a working professional, if you're a family mom or dad. We don't have the opportunity to have the same mileage or intensity as when we were younger. So, low RPM training is just part of that evolution in your training program. And again, if you don't have the cardiovascular efficiency or strength, you can start developing your muscular power. It's like just going to the gym. So even Boots can ride with us at 30 kilometers per hour. If you think you can hold 30 kilometers per hour, definitely you can be right. You can ride with Boots. So Boots just started with CRZ. She just had her biomechanics tuning. If you've seen her episode a few weeks ago, and as we reach the 11th kilometer, you'll notice that the speed is still steady. The orange bridge is a landmark that we often use as a reminder to the group that we will now be leaving Clark and crossing to the next border to New Clark City. So remember, this is the 11th kilometer. If you've survived this far, you're all good. Because once we cross the bridge, the 8 climbs will start in succession. Which means it's very important now that whatever you learn in the biomechanics program, this is where you apply it. And what are those? How to change gears, how to use your gears, how to maintain your heart rate, how to manage your effort. Don't be excited on the climb. Do not attack the first few 100 meters of the climb. You have to be very patient. And one of the things I really like about this riding platforms is it gives everyone the chance to follow a choreography. And when you follow people who are very experienced in peloton riding, it's so easy to learn that. So if you think that you have that fear of riding with a large group, maybe this is the platform for you, because somehow some of the participants here have been practicing this choreography, and the moment that you ride with them, it's so easy to adapt the same culture, the same emotions, the same style of riding. So to show you what's happening right now, if you're looking at the screen, the left side of the screens are all the CRZ students. who are just continuing their program. On the right side of the peloton are all our friends. So these are CRZ and friends. You don't have to be in the bike fitting program, you don't have to be part of the coaching program. As long as you follow the script, you're more than welcome to join. In fact, you can even bring your friends. I always believe that cycling is for everyone, and it's our responsibility to share these roads. And perhaps this gives some of the young minds the idea that cycling together on open roads can be as safe as possible without having to be rowdy on the road. So as soon as we reach the 20-kilometer mark, it means that you've already finished the first four climbs. We are now at New Clark City. And after the fourth climb, the downhills will start. And this is where we practice how to balance the bike, what the value of aerodynamics, and everything in between. When your bike fits you, you're going to be able to control the bike like you are one. So that's the value of having good biomechanics. It gives you the sense of control on how you handle your bike. Speeds become safe. Going at 55 kilometers per hour, 60 kilometers per hour become a lot safer because the bike stays steady. So even if you got bike fitted but you don't know how to use your bike, you'd still struggle to go at high speeds. Going fast is not necessarily dangerous if you can control your bike. And these are the training programs and training days that we practice aside from mileage. It's really the skill of learning how to handle your bike. Once you've figured out that basic foundation, everything follows. Whenever we train and ride outside, we emphasize to our friends that you are not training for a race. You're training just because you would just want to be healthy. And if you can make it fun, make it fun. You don't bike because you want to race. If you want to race, go ahead. But it does not define you. A lot of our shift in culture right now is you are expected to race if you are fast. That's always a culture. Can it be that you just want to feel fast because you're fit and you want to go fast because you want to be healthier? It's like going to the gym. So the speeds that can be achieved if you are fit and healthy, even if you're on your late 40s, early 50s, can be sustainable if you make this a lifestyle. So the key word here is make it a lifestyle. Then we are able to ride with the younger kids, the teenagers, riders who are half our age, and be able to ride with them and have fun and have a community play bike day. So Saturdays are always the most exciting days because we get to invite a lot of people. If you want to join us, show up at the parking lot 6:30 a.m. or give us a message. We are more than happy to give you a slot on the script. So at the 24-kilometer mark, we are about 6 kilometers away from the U-turn. So this is an out and back course. The advantage of that is if you want to make an early U-turn, go ahead. As your fitness goes up, then you can join us all the way to the U-turn. But what I like about the layout of the course is it's just one shot, U-turn, go home. You'll never get lost. You'll always see your friends on the other side of the road. And if you think you ran out of energy, you can just pull over on the side and make a U-turn.
Tom, stay on the dotted line. I need space. Stay here. Yeah, I need space for the camera.
Speed is really relative. Zones can be relative. The cadence, power, heart rate, and I just want to focus on my crank here, the chainring. So we are a big fan of low RPM. So even if we are going at 42 kilometers per hour, 45 kilometers per hour, it gives us the ability to hang on with the younger riders because we use the muscular power. So before you decide on what equipment you use, you always have to take note that whenever you change your equipment, you also have to adopt your technique or your style of riding. For example, one of the most popular trending topic nowadays is the shorter cranks. The 155 cranks, 160 cranks, 165 length cranked. Always remember that the more that you shorten your crank, the more that you are obliged to increase your cadence. If you have the cardiovascular efficiency, but you don't have the leg power, short cranks are for you. However, if you don't have the cardiovascular efficiency, but you still want to go up to speed at 40, 45 kilometers per hour, then the next solution would be for you to stay on a longer crank and a lower RPM. So this is like an example. Side by side, you can see the difference between high RPM, low RPM. Remember, both styles work. You just have to choose which one works for you. The other topic that we typically address to some of our newbies is the value of aerodynamics. Aerodynamics gives you free speed at zero wattage. And this is again where the value of biomechanics comes in. Not just bike fitting, biomechanics teaches you the value of physics. Learn how the bike reacts at certain situations. And if you can see how fast we can accelerate the bike, stay steady even if the roads are kind of bumpy. But because everything is well balanced, because we also design our own bikes, the geometries are custom, meaning that it's guaranteed that you're always going to be able to reach your brakes. Your center of gravity is always balanced. M here is also part of our program. Busy guy. So sometimes, because we're really, really lazy training, we have to think about other ways on how to get free speed.
Orange bridge, okay? Come on, come on, orange bridge.
Now going down, we have a lot of the downhills as we start climbing the other last four climbs, and the more that we can save a lot of energy, the more that we can put that energy into good use on the other climbs. Now, Tommy the Tank is twice my weight, so gravity really favors him. For lightweights like myself and M, we have to just really have a really small frontal area. If it works for you, it works for you. So remember, you just don't copy whatever you see on TV or in YouTube. These are skills that are trained every single day. Now, we are very lucky here in Clark. There are no UCI police, so you can use whatever bike you want. You can use whatever equipment you want. You're not gonna be banned, or you're not gonna be forced to stop cycling because UCI does not have any jurisdiction here. Well, it's a joke, but sometimes a lot of people get so much into UCI and you forget how to have fun on your bike. So remember, we're not pros. We're just a bunch of weekend enthusiasts that like riding our bike.
Go, go,
And
go, orange bridge.
it's never too late to stay young, be young again,
Orange bridge.
and you know, having bike rides with our teenagers here makes us feel young. So another downhill again, and you can see the difference in aerodynamic efficiency the moment that you tuck in, the moment that you put the weight at the back of the bike becomes stable. But again, do not just copy this. It requires a lot of skill. Exactly the same way when you started to use your clipless pedals. A lot of people said clipless pedals were dangerous. I agree, very dangerous unless you train for it. But when your bike is steady, your handling is steady, your skill is top notch, going at 73 kilometers per hour, 74, 75, um, just keeps on going up. It just means that you become a little bit safer. You are able to really control the bike, and you get to be like a kid again and just enjoy the outdoors. Just do this with your experienced friends, and that's the reason why we have this platform, is to slowly bring our students, if you got into the biomechanics program, how to do it properly.
Okay, 8 kilometers to go, 8K to go. 8K to finish.
So that 8 kilometers to go marker is part of the script that was sent out the night before. This is when we call it play bike. So out of the 68 kilometers, 67 kilometers, the final 8 kilometers would be the play bike portion. This is when we start revving up the effort, the power, from the orange bridge all the way to the finish line at Aquaplanet. The gradient plays around 2% to 3% gradient, so it's a little bit challenging. It just looks flat, but this is a 2 to 3% grade climb with a little bit of a headwind. So for me to be able to keep the speed going, you really, really have to focus on establishing that small frontal area. It defines everything. If you cannot afford an aerodynamic bike, if you cannot afford a aerodynamic frame, don't be sad, because remember, majority of the friction and drag is really you. So that 90-degree elbow thing that people used to laugh at is now starting to become a standard. So because it's just really basic concepts, the smaller your frontal surface area, the faster you can go at a lower RPM, at a lower heart rate, and be able to keep an effort going. When you encounter a little bit of a climb, you can straight up, sit, crank the RPM, and just a little bit of a heart rate burst. And then once you crest the climb, you can go back to your low RPM again, recover your heart, and just depend on your muscular power. So this entire stretch of road from the Orange Bridge all the way to the finish line is 8 kilometers long. We consider it as one of the most, you can say, challenging course, because it just feels like it just goes on and on and on. So at 32, 33 kilometers per hour is fairly decent for our standard. It's not slow, it's not fast, just enough. So we just decided that between 30 to 32 kilometers per hour is a decent speed. If you don't have the legs to follow the speed, that's perfectly fine. You can form the second group and continue riding it at 25 kilometers per hour. The finish line is always the same. So behind us in this long line of gentlemen are the junior riders. So our objective, just a play, just a, we could call it just play bike, is how can we maybe outfox the junior riders by working with the fellow uncles. Again, doesn't hurt to play bike. You don't have to be a pro. You don't always have to think about Ronda Pilipinas or Tour de France, who's stopping us from playing games with your friends. So a little bit of acceleration after the corner, at 2 to 3% gradient. If you can go at 40, 45 kilometers per hour, that's decent enough. to really rev the heart up. It's not easy at 3% gradient, so this is what we call we're approaching the Pader section. 53 kilometers out. So we're approaching the finish line. This is when everyone starts to work really, really hard. We're just trying to break the heart of our junior riders because we need to keep the speed going. But if we blow up, then we blow up. If we can keep on going, we can keep on going. But we decided to keep going. Now this is the intermediate sprint for the junior riders because we decided to give an award for the top 3 junior riders who finish on the intermediate sprint before the final finish line, and it just gives them a little bit of motivation on how to outfox one another. So they went on, but after their intermediate sprint, then we go ahead. With 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometer going to the finish line, we find ourselves alone. So we were able to break the rubber band. We call it the rubber band because when it snaps, it really, really snaps. We see some of our competitors chasing. This is still what we call pader or the wall in local terms. It's a really long drag, 2 to 3% grade climbs, goes up to 5% grade. But this is we call it the test of character.
That's steady, nothing more. One guy chasing.
We will see you at the finish line. Hopefully you enjoyed our Saturday morning routine. If you can join us next Saturday, please let us know. We're gonna have so much more fun. Clark to New Clark City.
Slow it down. Let's make him chase. Let's allow him to close the gap. Slow it down. Good. I'm gonna tell you. Start winding it up. Come on. Ah. Ah. Naputol. Woo. Ah. Nice workout. Oh, that was 50 kilometers per hour. 50 kilometers per hour in Pagyan, huh? For the mga kids. Wow, that was fast. Good job, Carlo. Saan sila kumalas?
Hindi ko na alam, boss.
Ha?
Hindi ko na.
Good job, Nikki. Wow. Ah, nice one, Tank.
Tank, I thought you were behind us. Behind our wheels, oh.
Woo. Wow. Hey, good job, Benji. Who won? You.
Nang kami.
Ha?
Nag-pick lang po kami, nanalo siya.
Okay. Good job, Benji.
Pick na lang ba?
Good job. Dude, that was fast. Ah.
There you go. Para tingnan yan. Mga 30, mga 1 hour. Nandiyan na sa sakay Martin.
That was super fast. Whew.
Kita mo daw? Kita mo? Bike up!
Solid pace.
Gerald! Hindi ako marunong. Oo na, parang na yun.
Wow.
It's nice to celebrate simple successes, especially for our junior riders. It gives them the confidence, character development, and maybe if they continue these interactions with the uncles, it's always nice to have junior minds get the proper nurturing by making themselves available to a community who are already professionals in their own lives. Maybe these are the stuff that you can take out of this cycling that we call as a hobby. See you again next Saturday. And if you are in Kuala Lumpur on the second week of September, we're going to see you there. Let's go ride. Thank you.